You are horrifying to look at. But that's a good thing. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Zareth Prevails, folks. We are talking about the core teams in 5v5. I know that I put a video about this out a couple weeks ago, but I've updated it a little bit, and we need to keep the visibility on it just a little bit, just because the new GAC season is upon us. There is updated strategy with the Omicrons. And the new marquees, new different teams are kind of surfacing, and different strategies. Not all of them are going to be different, though. There's going to be a fair amount of overlap, in fact. And so, if you've seen this video before, or at least the most recent one, I appreciate you watching this one as well. So I think that there's value to watching this as well anyways, just to get a refresher, or just to be able to hang out and support your local YouTuber. Not that I'm local, but that being said, I do just want to remind you guys that we've been mounting the algorithm a lot. We're trying to continue to mount the algorithm. It's been a period of extreme growth for this channel, and I really appreciate everything that everyone has done for me. So if you want to support this channel for free, all you have to do is hit that thumbs up button or leave a comment in the comment area. If you would like to do both, I would really appreciate that as well. You can just leave a nonsense comment in the comments, or something that's actually relevant. What teams are you guys going to be putting on defense in 5v5 this season? What Omicrons are you going to be doing, etc.? And if you could please, we're trying to hit 10k subs by the end of the year, and it's a close run thing. We need a lot of subs every day. We need to average over 60 every single day until the very end of the year. But if we can get to the end of the year and hit 10k, that would be the most epic thing ever. So please, just if you haven't hit the sub button, please just do me a favor. I would really truly appreciate it, guys. So that being said, there's been released already an offense version of this video. I think I'm publishing this one 3 hours after that one, and so check that one out as well. It's in the video description linked, or you can just find it, I don't know, on the website. You guys are I guaranteed there's gonna be someone in the chat that says, why doesn't this link work in the I guess that'll be for my defense video, because I'll post that one up, and then it'll link to this video, and people will say, why doesn't the link work? Why doesn't the link work? Because it hasn't been out. It was a 3-hour delay. So, all right, let's go to the game, guys. This is enough talking. Whoa, we're in the game? Madness. You guys need to warn me. How'd we get whoa, I'm on top. Oh man, my voice is gonna stay there. Oh man, I've been making too many videos, guys. I am so excited for GAC to get here, and me only make one video a day. So, if you want to come watch me on Twitch and stuff, we'll also be streaming a lot. It's gonna be a good time, so come hang out for the live streams too. It's good. It's a lot of fun. I play all 3 different accounts, etc. It's good. That being said, we've got for defense, we've got this. The following split is if you have a Gear 11 Darth Talon. Now you could, I guess, do the same thing. You could do something a little different if you wanted to. A Gear 11, she's just not going to be super difficult to smash if you want to. So what's happening here is Darth Revan team does lose a little bit of offense. You put it on defense. This team is starting to wane as a defensive team, guys. This used to be the defensive standard for a long time, and the problem with Darth Revan is the fact that it's just beat by more and more teams. Like that Mothma team with Kyle Katarn is going to be able to take it out pretty easily, unless they get stuck on Darth Malak. I'm not sure how they do against Darth Malak. Probably not super well, but I might be able to chew through them eventually. The thing about it all is, though, folks, this team gets beat by Imperial troopers a lot, and it's real easy to outspeed them with a fast Piet. It's just really easy to outspeed them. So if you throw Darth Talon in there, she gives them another plus 20 speed, along with other things. And even though that kind of hurts, you can also put Nest on the team, I guess, like put Nest in here, and like that'll kind of thwart a lot of trooper teams, at least. I know that some people are able to get through it anyways. They have a methodology. I think I know how that works, but it can backfire on you as well. But here's the thing: Darth Talon will work because Darth Revan is also giving up on his defense, or on his leadership. He has this one little clause here that gives him plus 50% critical damage if all of the starting characters are Sith Empire, and Darth Talon is not Sith Empire. However, she is Sith. She's giving everyone plus 20 speed, and she also, with her unique, is able to give everyone additional offense. Let me see, where is it? Yeah, so she gives them all health and offense and speed, and the offense, I don't know if it offsets. I mean, 50% crit damage is probably more than just plus 30% offense, but it does offset offense set. It's a terrible wordplay, folks. It does kind of just offset that crit damage stuff, and it also gives extra health to everyone. It makes this team very difficult, and if you do make this team faster, then it's going to outspeed quite a few of those Imperial Trooper teams. However, keep in mind, this will not outspeed someone who has an Omicron on Zam. If Zam has the Omicron, then Zam is going to eat this team for lunch, I think. In theory, we can't test. So dumb. Why don't we have a squad? Why don't they turn Squad Arena into an actual testing ground? We need to be able to test some of this stuff. Testing in GAC is for our daily crystals seems unacceptable to me. But get us a sandbox mode, CG, please. I would love that. That being said, next up we have Traya Lead. Now, it's not Traya Lead. It's a team with the Sith trio. Sith Empire Trooper's great here as well because he is just really tough to kill. He's really tanky. And then Darth Maul Lead. This team won't always hold up against a lot of teams, but it does tend to mess with people just because of people going in and out of stealth and everything. And Darth Nihilus, he's going to be gaining turn meter. He's going to be doing a lot of crazy stuff, and eventually, if you can't kill Darth Nihilus, then what can you do? But he's going to eventually take his toll, and this team steals a tremendous number of banners. It's not foolproof. There are other counters for it, but this team is quite strong as is. Now, if I wanted to take Talon to go with Traya, I would use Traya's lead instead of anything else because her lead specifically goes with Talon, and there's some good synergy, especially if you have the Zeta on Talon, etc. Now, General Skywalker is another team that is probably on the outs for offense or on defense because Commander Luke counters it. There's a pretty decent amount of attack, there's a decent amount of I don't know. There's a certain number of Emperor Palpatine squads that are going to have Mara Jade that are going to be able to take this team out, even though it is not a territory war. Obviously this is GAC, but the problem is they still just counter this team really well, and I've seen a lot of videos of it. It's not just one of our favorite big content creators, if you know who I'm talking about. There's actually been a couple other videos that I've seen with a relic Mara Jade being able to help Emperor Palpatine and company be able to assist and destroy this team fairly consistently. It even works with her at lower stars apparently, but she just dies. Everyone dies. It's a huge mess. But the fact is, this team is so good on offense anyways because it also takes down and threatens a couple different galactic legends, including Rey, which, even Rey Cat, people have been having some success with this team. There's a methodology to it. Even though Rey Cat seems like it should be like the hardest counter ever, it's not, and it's pretty fancy anyways. So the next up on defense, this is one that is absolutely a change. Put Boss lead. You could even do Jango lead for more speed, but the idea is Bosk lead with Zam with her Omicron. Now keep in mind, this isn't a good team if Zam doesn't have her Omicron, but if she does have it, which mine does, then he's going to be able to defend at what, 370, 380 speed, something crazy like that. And if that's what's going on, what team do you use to counter it? You can use Commander Luke. What other teams? You can't really use Jedi Training Rey. Most people don't run their BB-8 ruinously fast and to be able to outspeed a team like this. What other teams can beat it? I mean, all the Galactic Legends, obviously. General Skywalker can probably beat it, even if they go second. And after that, I'm not convinced that many other teams can go. If you have a ruinously fast Piet, I don't even know if you can make him fast enough. Maybe you can still outspeed some of the slower Zam teams, but Zam giving them 70 to 80 speed is going to make this team a huge pain in the neck to try to counter. Next up, we have Night Sisters. What do Night Sisters do well? They die, and then they come back, and then they die, and they put your opponent on tilt, and then it's over, and usually your opponent has 60 banners. Because they can game the system and kill your zombie, I would recommend usually putting this on team on offense, to be honest. You can put it on defense if you think your opponent has some kind of psychological weak spot to it, or if you're unlike my account where I have basically all the teams and all the opponents that I'm facing have the same teams. If you happen to have a if you happen to see that your opponent can't beat Night Sisters easily, then you could throw this on defense. This team can work. It's more of a filler, and honestly, it can punch way up. It can take out Commander Luke teams, Jedi Training Rey teams, etc. This team is really good on offense as well. It just gets bad banners. Next is the crew team, because we're not using. Do you ever want to say crouton instead of crew team? By the way, I can't say that I've ever really been tempted, but I keep noticing that that's available there. It's like I have a menu, and that's an option. But crew with Hux is a much better team than a crew team without Hux. If you make your Kylo a little bit quick, not quick-witted, he's beyond that. But if you make him a little bit fast and he can go first on the team, he's plus 30 speed from crew. If he goes first, he gives everyone turn meter and they're off to the races. Your opponent can't gain turn meter because Hux is there, being the douche that he is. And otherwise, this team, like Executioner, gives everyone some turn meter. First Order Officer swaps turn meter. This is a very good team on defense, actually, if you have a really fast OG Kylo, or if you have an equally fast, I mean, like Hux will probably work as well to be able to make that happen. I mean, the problem being, of course, that once you do have Supreme Leader Kylo, then this team doesn't, it's significantly weaker because you're going to have to split it off and have Hux go with Kylo or something like that, just because you need something to prevent turn meter gain, etc. But this team, in its Platonic ideal, this is a very strong team to have to deal with. I don't know what I'd do, to be honest. Next, we have Padme. If we don't have Galactic Legends, that means that Jedi Master Kenobi is no longer helping the opponent, or helping, gosh, she's not helping your opponent. But the problem is, Padme's pretty sad because he steals all the good characters. But if he's not here, if you don't have Jedi Master Kenobi, then the Padme team is actually one of the strongest out there, just because it's all health-based, and Ahsoka's giving all of them an additional 50% health on top of all of that, and this team can just destroy a lot of different other teams out there on offense. On defense, I would say that it's significantly weaker. I mean, this version of it could probably just be chained to death by an Emperor Palpatine Vader team, especially if they have a Mara that's any good. But this team, I'm putting it on defense because I don't like teams that don't get good banners. This team doesn't have any banner recovery, so it's not going to. It'll get you a 55, and if that's what you're going for, that's fine. But that's the limitation on it. So on defense, some people don't know how to deal with it. I do think that with Palp and Mara out these days, this team is more and more an offense team as well. Next is Jedi Training Ray and Company. Again, this team is great on offense, and it actually gets good banners because you have the Grenade of Healing from Finn, and you're able to just take a lot of people out with the everything. You have Illuminated Destiny, which also heals people, and you get a ton of turn meter, everything. On defense, this team, you just want to have a really fast BB-8 and a really fast R2-D2, I guess to some degree, and you just, the thing I keep pointing out for this team is the Resistance Hero Finn is actually, even if he's 340 speed, and a lot of people have been putting him on Ray teams, and he needs to be fast for a Ray team. On Jedi Training Ray, he is not necessarily going to need to be really fast. He just needs to be able to throw his grenade and everything he needs to be able to trade turns with someone. The thing is, even if he's at 340, the way the turn meter manipulation works, the BB-8 is still, even if he's significantly slower than Finn, BB-8 usually still goes before him. Then R2-D2 and Jedi Training Ray go, and eventually Ray takes a second turn, sometimes even before Hero Finn even gets a turn, because their turn meter manipulation is so strong. And so he's fourth wheel, even if he's at 340 speed. So I would recommend, if you're going to be running this team without Ray on it, make him a little slower. Save some of those speed mods for someone else. So some other worthy character. Now, Commander Luke on defense, I've said before, this team is decent on defense. I think that it's going to have a whole lot more utility on offense. But the thing about it is it's also going to be very difficult to move if your opponent doesn't want to commit anything too crazy. So they might use General Grievous, but that means that you have an opportunity to kind of trap them, in the sense that you can put a bunch of tenacity all over your team, and then you don't get target locked, and the Grievous team loses momentum and still sputters out and dies, because you do an enormous amount of damage with this team. Keep in mind that Commander Luke wants to be modded for offense and tenacity, because Chupio is going to grab all of those stats. He's going to keep 40% for himself. He's going to take 20% of them and redistribute it to the rest of the team. And so, it's like it's one of those unique leadership abilities, kind of, from Chewie, and it does really make Commander Luke shine, though, because he has a bunch of tenacity. He hands it out to the rest of the team, and then if a team is relying on debuffs the way Grievous does, then this team can kind of, in a way, trap a Grievous team. It doesn't always work, but it does work nicely. Just lots of tenacity. Chewie just needs to never think about offense again. Just all tenacity all day, and that's it. Next up, this is me kind of stumbling and bumbling, trying to find a use for the Rose Tico Omicron. And the idea here, folks, is her Omicron is all based off of turn meter gain once she... Here, let's click on it. Once someone gains exposed, then turn meter gain. So she's not good enough to go with Jedi Training Ray, even with her Omicron. Maybe she is, but you probably... who do you even take out? Do you take Poe out? Does the team need Rose? Should she make the team so considerably better that she doesn't, that you, I don't know, get rid of Poe? I'm just not sure. It just doesn't seem like Rose is going to be able to do it. But the idea is everything's around expose, and so we have Finn here, who has a leadership. I put a Zeta on him, and I don't know, Zeta's okay. It's the one that gives you extra turn meter for exposes and everything. So combined with, so let's see, for each expose on your, let's see, if the damage is, if an enemy is damaged by resistance ally, each for each expose on them, then they reduce turn meter and everything, and everyone else gains 3% turn meter. Rose is going to turn that up to, she's going to be able to, as the foresight is, as the exposes continue to mount up, she's going to be able to ramp up their speed and everything. So the idea here is that Poe is first, he's fastest, he's going to put expose on everyone. Everyone's going to be gaining turn meter, and suddenly you're off to the races. You can have Race Scavenger also pretty dang quick, and if there's a few exposes out there, she's going to just pwn noobs, because that's what she does. Resistance Trooper is just there to provide extra exposes so that Rose can fuel the additional turn meter. And otherwise, this team, I have no idea. This is absolutely a filler team. If But I don't know. I'd like to see Rose in action to be able to see that that's an Omicron that I'm totally up in the air about. I don't think she's going to move the Resistance team too far, that needle too far, but I think that it is pretty good. Now, the new Omicron for Ewoks actually makes me want to use them on offense. I don't have the Omicron on my main account, but my Prevail Man account will, and I meant to put it on my alt, but I forgot, and it's already locked. So, unfortunately, but this team is really good. If you put the Omicron on Chirpa, everyone gains an additional 30 speed. Peplu also gains an additional 25% speed that nobody seems to know about, and everyone keeps telling me I'm going to use the Chirpa team. I'm going to put 3PO in there instead of Peplu, and I'm like, dude, Peplu is the lifeblood of this team. The worst character on this team, actually, the most expendable, it seems crazy to me, but Ewok Elder, the one who can revive them, is gone. The rest of them hold extremely important places. I need to, once I get the Omicron up and running on Prevail Man, and then maybe even on my alt, and I start getting some good footage and some good testing in, I'm going to do a Faction Essentials video on Ewoks, because they can do a whole lot of good stuff. So Peplu, he wants to be super fast. He gets another 30% turn meter, or sorry, just 30 speed from Chirpa, and he can get up to somewhere approaching 400 speed. It's pretty ludicrous. He can go extremely fast, get the whole team's turn meter running, and once that happens, you probably get a 60 because Wicket's healing you. Everyone's doing their part. You probably don't want to send for 3PO because he's kind of just an annoying a-hole anyways. Though, honestly, 3PO is a pretty good character. You do want low grade just for the days and the turn meter removal so that you can continue doing the things that you want to do. And, you want Peplu to be gear 13 as well, guys. This is pretty important. My Prevail Man account only has him at gear 11 or something, but should be a fun time. I'm really excited to see how that works. This team on defense is going to be annoying too, because what if they are 400 speed? What if they're 380 speed or 300? Like, this team is going to be out racing a lot of Imperial Trooper teams again, in which case, if the Imperial Troopers don't watch themselves, they can just get cut to pieces by the Ewoks. Like, I don't know. I'd be interested to see if all the gear levels, relic levels were equal, who would win that if the Ewoks were faster. My guess is that Ewoks would just destroy the Imperial Troopers. So, all right, next up, we have two versions of Separatists. Now, Grievous no longer works on defense in terms of the traditional team. There's just too many counters. There's too many counters out there. So instead, what I'm doing here is just putting Grievous with, if you're not going to be using BB-8, if you're going to be using Rey with other Resistance characters and you don't want BB-8 to be on that team, you can throw BB-8 on here, and he's kind of the linchpin because everyone gains 40% turn meter, which is an enormous amount of turn meter, and so they're all going to go first basically, and that kind of shuts down a lot of different counters. This whole thing shuts down like Night Sisters, for instance, because you have all these Zetas who disallow healing, who do all of this different extra damage stuff, dispels, you name it. These guys are all really good. They're all target lock synergy characters except for BB-8, who's just there to kind of get the turn meter started, and then Grievous just slowly blends teams down. I think that this team will be one of my favorites on defense if I can spare BB-8. Now, what you do with the other droids in that case is you're probably going to just run Newt, because who doesn't love GL Newt, even in 5v5? And this team, these droids can all do some pretty decent work, in my opinion. It's on defense. It's a kind of a throwaway team, but if you're not careful, B1 is just going to take your lunch money. He's not a nice person despite all of his rogering. He's going to give you quite the rogering if you're not careful. Maybe we can say that. So the last one, guys, this is a little older team, but I just wanted to point it out. There is a really cool synergy between Karth and all of the various Old Republic characters, and if you have uses for them all, this is probably the least of the teams, but the idea is, and it probably even works better on offense, to be honest. But the idea is they're all generating an enormous number of damage over times, and Wampa has his damage ramped up based off of those damage over times. And so as everyone else is just gleefully applying all these debuffs to everyone, Wampa is gleefully just tearing everyone to shreds and hiding behind the Zalbar taunt. So I mean, this team isn't the very best, but if by circumstance you find that you have this team available to you, it's something you could place on defense or on offense if you think you can get better banners. They do have a decent amount of banner recovery as well. So, let me know what you guys think. Did I miss any squads? Are there any squads you really want to run? Are there Omicrons that I missed? I probably didn't talk about all of them super in depth, but I do think that we covered a decent number of them at the very least. So I think I'm going to let you go, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Remember to hit up that offense teams video, and so gosh, thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things Xaereth prevails. Please hit that thumbs up button as well, please, or sub, or both. Yay.